practicing bhakti are often graced by qualities such as sense control, discipline, cleanliness. Indeed, when you will study, you are studying now, I think, the nectar of devotion. What are the two characteristics of sadhana bhakti? Anybody knows? Yes, Klesha Gni and Shubhada. So what is all this austerity, sense control, discipline, cleanliness? What are these qualities? They are Shubhada. This is what it means, Shubhada. Auspiciousness. So one of the meanings of auspiciousness is all the godly qualities will manifest in the devotee. So these qualities appear naturally and without any special effort for the devotees who are practicing Krishna Bhakti. Nevertheless, they are not limbs of Bhakti. The limbs of Bhakti are Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. It doesn't say Shaucham. It is not. These characteristics and more, such as internal and external purity, austerity, being equipoised, and so on, automatically blossom in the personality of a devotee of Krishna. He does not have to make a separate effort to cultivate them. So this is one angle of vision, that these qualities will manifest automatically as we practice. But it doesn't mean that we should ignore them. We must make an effort. We must make an effort to remain clean and to practice those qualities, at least be aware of them. So that gradually we can allow them to flourish within our heart, and especially we can pray to Krishna, which is the process. The process is bhakti, vandanam. We offer our surrender and we pray. What do we pray? Oh, I realized I'm unclean in my habits. Oh, Krishna, please help me develop this quality. So we pray to the Lord to give us all these qualities. And the more we are aware of them, the better. So today we will read also about internal purity. So I'll read a little excerpt from a letter of Srila Prabhupada here. External purity is a prerequisite for developing internal purity. Because some devotees may say, what is the use of all these cleanliness rules? We are concerned with Chitta Shuddhi, the cleanliness of the consciousness. Who cares? But Prabhupada says, no. This external purity is a prerequisite to develop internal purity. If we can't even keep our bodies and surroundings clean, then how can we hope to remove the dirt encrusted on our hearts since time immemorial? Cleanliness is next to godliness. Srila Prabhupada says, if you are not clean, Krishna will remain 1,000 miles away. Srila Prabhupada wanted revolutionary cleanliness. Cleanliness is sattvic. It will help us a lot to increase the goodness in our whole personality. Cleanliness is also healthy. Many times we become, diseased. Why? Because of contamination. Contamination means we have become unclean, one way or the other. For example, there is a disease that nowadays was very, very spread in the last few weeks, which is called typhoid. Typhoid is typically a disease which we catch in contact with stool and very dirty elements. So those people who practice cleanliness, they will rarely get typhoid, although there can always be an accident. But if we are unclean, we don't wash our hands before eating, We are not very precise where we put our eating plates. We leave the food open, uncovered. So many things can happen. So this cleanliness is also a secret of becoming, of remaining healthy. And uncleanliness is tamasic. So it will influence our consciousness. So we want our consciousness to be, what do you say, we want our consciousness to be shining, to be bright. So we can help ourselves by remaining very clean. So taking off from where we left last time, we spoke a lot about the morning cleanliness, taking bath in the morning and so on. And as I was mentioning now, that after taking bath, for how long will you remain clean? Those who worship the deity, they are very careful in the morning after taking bath. Not touching this, not touching that, not doing this, not doing that. No bathroom trips, because they have to worship. And those who do not worship, they are a little bit more relaxed. So let us hear. We are clean. Now, how will we become unclean? Contaminating agents. And we should know that we are still on the external cleanliness at this moment. The physical uncleanliness will come by touch, by contact. If the table is dirty, my hand is clean. I put my hand on the table. What happens? What happens? Hand becomes dirty. If it is Krishna's hand, the table is dirty, Krishna's hand, ever pure. If he puts his hand on the table becomes pure. But in our case, anything we touch which is unclean, immediately we become unclean. So the contaminating agents, they have been given in Hari Bhakti Vilas and other scriptures. Here it says, we have to be careful. Since contamination spreads by touch, so a devotee must be careful. And remember, the strictness by which you apply this depends on how close you are to the deity. One should not touch items such as the holes of the body. We hear in the Bhagavad Gita, remember the city of the 9 gates? There are 9 gates. 2 lower gates, and then all the upper gates. And all these gates, they put us in touch with the internal parts of the body. And know what is the internal, what is inside the body. Always it is nicely explained by Srila Prabhupada. There is the liquid beauty inside the body. So, and this liquid beauty is available through the holes of the body. So if you touch anywhere in your nostrils, some people are very good at cleaning their nose all the time. Some people are good at they are eating their nails or the skin of their fingers, or they like to clean their ears all the time. So in this way, so one should not touch the holes of the body, especially while worshipping. The hair, we said, is something which is kind of rejected from the body, so it's unclean. The lower part of the body, below the belt, below the belt, especially while worshipping, we do not touch the feet. We do not touch any part of the body which is low. Even the cloth which is covering the lower body, the feet, the floor, or any impure substance. So let us hear here. According to Manu, there are 12 impurities. We called them last time mal, which exude from the body. And if we contact them, then immediately we should cleanse ourselves. So there are different degrees of them. So the main impurities are, it says fat. What is the fat? We said when we wake up, the whole body is kind of greasy. That's why we have to take bath before entering the temple, before beginning the worship. Then semen, which means the sexual fluid. Then there is blood. Then there is bone. Sometimes it says marrow, bone in general. Urine and stool. So these are major things which are very dirty. You will say, how do I come in touch with bone? Besides being a meat eater, how do I come in touch with bone? Well, devotees, last time I told you, you should be very careful with all the beauty products which are on the market. And for example, the talcum powder, you know talcum powder? This prickly powder that people use during the summer because you become all sweaty. And so you put some talcum white powder. Talcum originally is a stone. It is a very soft, porous stone, which people have been using for thousands of years, always. It is grated, because it is a very soft stone. It is grated, and it is used as talcum powder. It absorbs humidity. However, millions of people all over the world, how many talcum stones can you find? And in this age, we are always searching for cheap solution for maximum profit. What is the cheap solution? It is the bones of animals from the slaughterhouse, which are dried and grinded and turned into a fine white powder sold as talcum. So anything you buy, you have to always be careful that it may be something very unclean. But real talcum powder is also on the market. It's for you to do your research and find out which brands are actually giving the actual product. So then there are, as we said, whatever comes from the nose, mucus is coming. These are the fluids that are exuding. The cough. We don't touch cough. There's a kind of a little horror story one time. In America, I think it was. Srila Prabhupada had a cough, very bad cough. And he was spitting. And the devotees had arranged for him what we call, oh, whose phone is ringing? Thank you, Ruma. You have to sponsor prasadam sweet for everybody. 2-piece each. So Prabhupada was coughing, and they had arranged for him a spittoon. You know what is a spittoon? It's not much used these days. And Prabhupada was coughing mucus into the spittoon. And then one devotee figured that this is Mahaprasadam. So when Prabhupada came to know that somebody was actually enjoying that Mahaprasad, he was very angry. He said, don't you have a brain? Can't you like, discriminate? This is mal, which is coming out of the body. So the cough, the tears, the perspiration, the ear wax, and the water from the eyes, as we said, these are things that are contaminating. Other contaminating agent, alcohol. We know devotees stay very far away from alcohol. It is said that you can clean pots and containers, but if they have been used for alcohol, such as wine, liquor, and so on, they cannot be cleaned. This is very contaminating. Also, animals. First thing we learn when we come to Krishna consciousness, something difficult sometimes. We are used to keep pets, some cat, some dog, some bird, some hamster, and so nice, and they're so sweet. So we keep them on the lap, we touch them, we play with them, we sleep with them. So as soon as we come to Brahminical life, then we must understand that all good with them, nothing wrong with them. But Brahminical standards do not include being in contact with animals. You can play with the dog after you finish your puja. And after playing with the dog, you can take bath also. Truly. This is how a regular Brahmana would live. Usually, dogs and all, they are kept by the Vaishyas in the farms. Because they are very useful animals. They are part of the life of human beings. They guard, they keep away wild animals, and so on. They keep the security. They help keep the cows. So, but in general, animals such as dogs, donkeys, pigs, birds like crows, and in general, all sorts of animals. So we avoid touching them. We keep a little distance. Our mercy upon them is by feeding them some prasadam in one way or the other. Let them hear the holy name. This is the mercy. When we are patting and patting and patting animals, we should analyze what's going on. Are we doing it for the pleasure of the animal? Actually, no. People enjoy. We enjoy patting. We enjoy that. And so this is not part of the life of a devotee. And if we wish to have such exchanges with animals, then we should not do that before going to the temple. We should not do that before cooking for the deity or for at home for our Lord. We should not do that before worshipping. The cows are pure. Out of all the animals, the cow is pure. So patting the cow, that is okay. But there is one part of the cow which is impure. Anybody knows which part of the cow is impure? Yes, the mouth. So when you pat the cow, we don't touch the mouth. And therefore it is good to pat the cow where her tongue cannot reach. Because the cows, they try to lick their bodies here and there. So better to pat the cow, they like under the neck here. You pat the cow under the neck, on the head, and so on. So, and as I said, the main thing is that we should watch the spirit of enjoyment. So we pat the cow, we take blessing from the cow, and we pat the cow in a way that the cow will be happy, not that we will enjoy patting the cow. The hair, the nails, we said, corpses, also, if we touch a dead body. So let me see here, there are more things here. A dead body, the smoke from a funeral pyre. Everybody knows when you go to a funeral, afterwards you do snan. Aprita snan. This is how you conclude the ceremony. You purify yourself. Even just by seeing a dead body, one should take a bath. What to speak of touching when we handle dead bodies, because we have to take care of the funerals. And besides that, the smoke from the pure funeral pyre, this is contaminating. So we take bath. In ladies, there is the monthly period, which has to be dealt with in a certain way. Eating also is contaminating. When we eat, we touch the food, and then something or the other will drop on the clothes. Before deity worship, it is somewhat okay to drop something in your mouth, boop. Sometimes the pujaris, they have to go on from early morning until for many hours. And so But sitting, eating, people keep different standards. But in general, the standard is we do not eat. If we eat, it means we are no longer in the state of complete cleanliness. Sleeping, passing urine, stool, sinful activities are contaminating. Food remnants, eating the food from another person that another person has left, unless the person is a saintly person. And that too, it is another topic, but with their permission. Then we can take those remnants and they will be elevating us. But eating remnants of food from others, that is not considered very auspicious. Also, when there is a death in a family, we know the family is contaminated for some time. If there is a birth in the family, similarly, there is a contamination period. As far as Vaishnavas are concerned, we keep these contaminating periods to the very minimum. It is according to the Varna. The lower the Varna, the longer the period of contamination. In one sense, because people take time to psychologically get over what has happened. But in the higher Varnas, like in the Brahmana Varnas, there is a minimal time, less time of contamination. And because we are Vaishnavas and we are chanting the holy name, we are always in touch with the purest of the pure. So for the devotees, the period of purification or contamination in one sense is very, very, very minimal. But it is good to keep at least something. 3 days is a very minimum period of contamination. So let us hear something more here. Purification by stool means one is when we pass stool, the other is when we happen to touch stool, even the stool of an animal. Then you become unclean. The blood, one is to have a wound. If we have a wound, it should be dressed. And usually if the wound is exuding blood or pus or something, we are unclean for deity worship. We don't do deity worship at that time. And if you happen to cut yourself while you are cooking or doing some service, you should not just ignore it. What happens with the body is that it has a system of self-healing. If it's a small cut, you wait for some time and it will close itself. But usually we have to cleanse ourselves. And in general, when we touch blood in any way, we have to take bath. Then there is, we said, alcohol, which we stay very far away from. Disease as well. Disease is caused by various agents. As we said in the case of typhoid, it is caused by some dirt. There is bacteria, there is virus. So when we are sick, naturally the body will be perspiring, and so many fluids are going to come out of the body. There will be fever and so on. And so in that time, we are not clean. And last time I think I mentioned that it is not required to endeavor to be suchi while you are sick. Because being sick is already an unclean situation. So we just endeavor to recover. We endeavor to recover. We cannot take full bath when we are sick, when we have fever. We simply wipe the body, if possible, with a wet cloth, that's all. And we endeavor to recover. And once we recover, then again we are clean. Okay, so one more thing here is, therefore, after having heard about these contaminating agent, the point comes of when to take bath, besides the morning bath. As we said, we after the morning bath, but we can again become unclean. So how do we become unclean? One thing is, we said, passing stool. We have seen many times that's why you have seen the VIHE bathrooms that you are using. They have been built for you to maintain Brahminical cleanliness. That you can take a bath in those bathrooms. In many places you go to the bathroom, you cannot take bath. So after passing stool, one must take bath. And I've seen many times that devotees for Bhakti Shastri, the Prabhupada said this is a training for Brahmanas, they have no clue of this standard. So what happens is, you don't follow the standard, and then you come and sit in the temple room, or you touch other devotees, and then you spread contamination. So everyone is not just invited, but instructed to take bath after passing stool. This is a very minimum standard of cleanliness that Srila Prabhupada gave us. Passing urine, no problem. You wash the hands, finished. Wash the hand and rinse the mouth. How many times?
4 times.
3 to 4 times. 3 times, good. 3 to 4 times you rinse the mouth. Similarly, after eating, clean the mouth, clean the hands. Before eating, clean the hands, very important. Before serving prasadam, clean the hands and do this rinsing of the mouth. These are very basic standards of cleanliness which will help us maintain health. Because in the process of passing stools, who knows what you are touching, doing, and if you don't take bath, it can become very dangerous. So another point was sleeping. If we sleep more than 1 hour, then what happens? The cleansing process of the body starts. If you have a nap for 15 minutes, no problem. Half an hour, no problem. You have a little nap. You feel a little dozy, it's okay. But if you sleep more than 1 hour, then again, grease on the body. Everything will start again. The cleansing body will start getting cleansed. So if you sleep more than, and also tamas will enter the consciousness. So if you sleep more than 1 hour, then immediately fresh bath. Brahmana loves taking bath. Those who are not in Brahminical nature, oh, again, take bath. So you can understand your nature. Brahmanas are like ducks, they love the water. Stool, we already said that. Hair, nails. It's not exactly compulsory that after cutting nails and hair you take a bath, but in general it is a good practice that you always do this when you are in the process of taking bath. And of course the hair, the nails, it should be properly disposed of. You don't just cut your nails and leave them everywhere, or cut your hair and leave them everywhere. It has to be disposed of. It attracts ghosts. It attracts ghosts. So we don't want that kind of company. Another contaminating agent, or let's say we said already, and after which we need to take bath, is sex life. For those who are grihastas, who practice regulated sex life, it includes taking bath. And of course, we heard of the sexual fluids, which also, that refers to involuntary sex life, which happens when the mind is impure. Sometimes the senses get agitated, the mind gets agitated, and unfortunately, we come in contact with the sexual fluid. So we have to take bath. To cleanse, first of all, the mind, refresh the consciousness, and purify the body. After a bad dream, sometimes in the night, bad dream can also be connected to sex life, or nightmare. We have a nightmare, and you become all disturbed in the sleep. So how to get rid of this? So this is a negative influence which has come on us, and specifically it is invading the mind. So one should take bath after having a bad dream. Dead body, we said, we take a bath. Shaving, we mentioned this. After shaving, either the face, the hair, then one should take full bath. Vomiting, that is also mentioned in the Shastra, after vomiting. But again, it depends. If you vomit with full fever, that's a different thing. But if you happen to vomit because you overate, or in general you're okay, but you vomit. After vomiting, the clothes are contaminated, the body is contaminated. One should take a bath and wear clean clothes. That is good standard. So we do not want to say that this is so fanatical. No. There is a process to attract Krishna. Now suppose one person you can see someone in the distance, and that person is going like, and then comes to you and say, shake hand. What you go like, namaskar. In fact, you can understand in the namaskar itself. Even during the COVID, the namaskar became very popular around the world. Instead of touching hand, you do namaskar. This is safe. So this namaskar has many, many aspects to it, besides the fact that we are offering our respects to another person and stating our humility. But it's also very safe for health and very safe for cleanliness, because you never know who is the other person. So if you see somebody always eating their nest and then comes and pats you on the back, hello, good friend. Ooh. So now Krishna is on the altar and he sees his pujari. And then the pujari comes close to the Lord to give the abhishek. Krishna is like, Yashoda, save me. The Lord is seeing us. He is the supreme pure. In order to approach him, that's why in the Shastras, Vishnu is worshipped by Brahmanas, the Suchi. Because he is the embodiment of goodness, which implies cleanliness, purity. Vishnu cannot be approached in a dirty condition. What did Prabhupada say? I was reading, if you are unclean, Krishna will remain 10,000 miles away. So let us make a little effort. One special thing I want to add to the list of the Hari Bhakti Vilas editing, it's called mobile. The mobile phone. We should also add it, that if you touch your mobile phone, so nowadays, and you know very well, here in the VIHE, we always beg you, ups, no mobile phone, ups. While eating, people are eating and making phone call at the same time, sometimes with the same hand. So we take the mobile everywhere, in the bathroom to hear class. Take the mobile in the bathroom to hear class. And so when you come in the bathroom, you just woke up. So your hands are dirty. The mobile has been lying next to the bed, in the bed. So you bring it in the bathroom to hear the class. And after you finish your bath, you are clean. And you take the mobile, which is dirty, and then you bring it back with you, and then mess up your whole environment. So this mobile has become something, on one hand, extremely useful. It's an amazing tool. On the other hand, it is a tool that can ruin our spiritual life. Both in terms of external cleanliness and especially in terms of internal cleanliness. So be very wary of your mobile. The mobile has to be kept clean. So get in the habit, since we can't get rid of the mobile in this age, it is like an extension of our hand, an extension of our brain. There are people who refuse to use mobiles, but mostly we use mobiles. So please get into a habit of cleaning it. The mobile is something that needs to be cleaned every day. Every morning, if you are hoping to use your mobile after you take bath, then it should be cleaned. And of course, you don't like just put it under the water. You use a slightly humid cloth, and you can mix, you see this thing here? Kali Yuga Achman. This is Kali Yuga Achman. You see the Brahmanas of the past, they always keep Kamandalu, Lota. You will always see a sadhu with Kamandalu, Lota. And as soon as they do something unclean, with the spout, they clean their hands immediately. They will keep themselves clean. Inside, so you can buy this kind of thing. In one sense, if you want to go to a super duper standard, it's muchi because it's plastic and this and that. But Haribol, it is better than nothing. So you can keep one like this. Inside this, not just pure water, you must add something else, such as Ganga water. Or you can yourself call the holy rivers, or you can have some Ganga with you, or you can put a little bit of cow urine inside, so that it actually, the water becomes a purifying agent. And you can, in this way, you can spray some cloth or some soft paper tissue, and you can clean your mobile. And avoid, as we told you here, avoid using your mobile while eating. And if you do, then first of all, we should not, because Krishna Prasad is Krishna. And just as with the holy name, we should respect Krishna by giving full attention. Similarly, when we take prasada, we should also take full attention. So this is the point of the mobiles here. And unfortunately, we see nowadays pujaris can't get rid of their mobile. Come into the pujari room with the mobile. So you can ask Mukundadat Prabhu is a head pujari in Vrindavan. He carries this, and definitely cleanses the mobile. Any good Brahmana knows where is clean and where is dirty. It is it's like when you wear white cloth or very clear colored, light colored cloth. You always have to know where to sit. You're a little careful, right? If you wear colored cloth or jeans or whatever, who cares where you sit? Because you wear colors, so even if you catch some dirt, it's not visible. Who cares? But if you wear white, then where should I sit? So that we don't become dirty. So this is not just for the physical dirt part, but also contaminated place. where to sit, so that we can remain clean. Are we doing good? Yes? No? We're bored? No. Yes? No. Maharaj, you have survived so far? Yes. This is a very practical aspect. We usually have classes on all the different qualities, but cleanliness is a very practical one. Okay, so how do we cleanse ourselves? We said last time with water. Huh? We cleanse ourselves, the paraphernalia, the clothes. We cleanse with water. As far as the hands, they can be cleansed with soap, which we said you should have to go for natural soap. And the cow urine, cow dung, mud. In the past, people were not using anything. They would just go to the river and rub their body with the mud. And so you can use mud. As far as the paraphernalia, like the things you use for eating, the things you use for worshipping, cow dung, you can use mud. And for purifying the metals, we can use lemon, we can use tamarind, or we can use ashes. Ashes, which usually refers to cow dung ash. It is very, very abrasive. And cleaning paraphernalia with ash is a very good means of cleaning things. But we should avoid using all sorts of things. There are so many cleaning products on the market. We should know that they pollute, they pollute the water. And we know very well that there are so many ecology movements of ecology, the followers of these movements, because we have put ourselves in trouble by polluting the earth. So we should use natural products so that we avoid polluting everything. Okay? Now we are going to go into another area, which is internal cleanliness. Srila Prabhupada says, for internal cleanliness, one has to think of Krishna and chant Hare Krishna. This is the ultimate purifying agent, is the Lord himself. He is called Shuddham, Apapavidham. This is mentioned in the Sri Upanishad, if you remember. Krishna is Shuddham and Apapavidham. Shuddham means he is pure, and Srila Prabhupada said antiseptic. The Lord is antiseptic. So, which means he is purifying. What is an antiseptic? It's like it purifies, and it also helps us not to get further contaminated. Apapavidham means he cannot catch the papa or the dirt. He cannot catch the dirt. So Krishna is the ultimate purifying agent, and for internal cleanliness, we think of Krishna. We chant the holy name of Krishna. We live Kali Yuga by default in a contaminated atmosphere. In the Bhagavatam we hear, Kalera dosha nide rajan, O king. This age of Kali, it is a dosha nidhi. It is an ocean of faults. Astigeko mahan guna, but there is one good quality. What is that? Kirtanad eva krishnasya mukta sangha param prajet. Simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord, two things will happen. We will be liberated from bondage, which includes we will be free from the contamination. This contamination creates bondage. So we will be free from contamination. And it says, Param Vrajet, we will go to the Supreme. So this is our good fortune. So just as physical contamination comes by what? Touch. Physical contamination comes by touch. So similarly, the subtle contamination comes by association, coming close to others or to some contaminating agents, subtle contaminating agents. So there are two ways that we associate. One is through Shruti, meaning, in other words, we associate with the things which are outside, external things. And Shruti means by hearing. If we hear something unholy, then the mind becomes contaminated. Internal cleanliness means cleanliness of the mind. So how does the mind become contaminated? Association is by taking in the information, not just through the ear. Shruti involves also the other senses. By seeing. Everybody knows the story of Ajamil. Gentle Brahmana went one day picking flowers and he saw some illicit association. He saw through his eyes and his mind flipped. So association is taken by seeing. It is taken by hearing. It is taken by smelling. Like for example, in the Upanishads actually it is mentioned that it is sinful to smell bad odors. If you smell bad smell, that is, so anything which is a little off, we don't smell it. And in the modern world, we mentioned, I think last time, that there are lots of industries which are connected to, unfortunately, sex life, such as perfumes. Now we must be very wary with perfumes. Perfumes from the beginning of time are used to attract. They are used to, in one sense, purify, like you are like sweaty and stinky, and so some people like to put a little perfume. Perfumes can be very auspicious when they are Mahaprasadam from the deity, when they are very sattvic oils. But there are different kinds of vibes which are coming from perfumes. And many of the perfumes in this age, they are designed to flip your mind. They are designed. The industries in this age are headed by demons. The entire world is under the rule of Kali. So the industry of perfumes, this is something to watch for. That you pass by somebody and you go like, you know, you smell and your mind goes like, you know, so nice. Let me check out more. You get involved. So perfumes, including aftershave. So this is all calculated that it should, because the whole idea of the modern economy is how to increase the consumption. The Vedic understanding is you use your senses as much as required. The modern understanding is you use them as much as you can. It's opposite. So all these things, whatever it is, they are meant, all the advertising and the perfumes and the everything, it is meant to increase the activity of the senses so that you will buy more, you will do more, you will spend more. It is a terrible cycle. So as devotees, we must be aware. So all the senses, they can capture these sinful vibrations. The taste, of course, we refrain as devotees from certain tastes because we know that they also bewilder the mind. and they put us in tamas. So like that. Touch also. Those who are following celibacy, all of us to some extent, refrain from touching things which are very soft. Because this softness engages the senses in a way that it's appealing. So we never want to go in any direction which is going to excite our senses. We don't want. So this is called shruti, the contamination which comes through our senses. Therefore, practice is sense control. Be aware what you see. As soon as you feel that something is coming through your eyes, close your eyes. Look down. It is said, chaste lady, for example, when she walks on the street, she looks on the street, she looks down. This is very safe. What is something that we meet which is contaminated in this life through the eyes? It is the glance of others, the glance of the sinful people. There is so much power in the glance. You know what Lord Mahavishnu does with his glance? He creates millions of universes. A fraction of that power is in the jiva's glance. The jiva's glance can be a benediction, or it can be a doom. So we are careful with the glance of people. We are not so much into staring at people and staring at them in the eyes. That is not the purpose of a devotee. So we should be careful of catching things through all our different senses. Then the other contamination is by smriti. What is smriti? Remembrance. Because the world is not only outside, the world is also inside. So when we remember, we have to be careful. What should we remember? Krishna. Yes, good, safe. We should remember Krishna. But there are so many other things in our mind, isn't it? And so we should be careful what kind of contemplation we are doing. What are we contemplating? Are we remembering, some sinful activity that we performed in the past? Are we remembering some sinful food or whatever? So this is called smriti, remembering. And we know very well the process of devotional service: shravanam, kirtanam, smaranam. These three come in a line. Whatever you hear, you will speak and you will remember. So therefore, first we control what comes through our senses. Because whatever we see, whatever we hear, will sit on our mind. And then we can contemplate it. So we don't want that. So we have to be very careful. Srila Prabhupada had a whole list of things. One time he saw in Calcutta, he was coming out of the temple and he saw, I think it was Shyam Sundar Das, who was reading the Time magazine. And Srila Prabhupada stopped and said, just by seeing the face of the people whose photo is in this magazine, you become contaminated. Just by seeing their picture. Because they are sinful by their activities. And this sinful nature is written on their face. And so we become contaminated. So we must be very careful we should not contemplate unclean persons. Unclean person means those who are sinful or who are promoting sinful activity. And especially as we know from the Nectar of Instruction, association has different levels. One is just seeing, the other is dealing. coming close to the person, starting a relationship, opening our mind, hearing what's in their dirty mind. So we get contaminated by dealing with improper persons or dealing in an improper way. Films. These are all things of Kali Yuga. In the past, they had live dramas. And in live dramas, there are also different dramas. There are sattvic dramas, passionate dramas, tamasic dramas, or some kinds of road shows which use prostitutes. So there are all kinds of dramas. And nowadays, the dramas have come very close to us through the internet. The film industry. The film industry is one of the main tools of Kali. One of the main tools of Kali. Anything a person could never imagine, he can quickly learn. A person who is regularly, slightly, normally pious, there are certain things which never come in the mind to a pious person. Sinful people, they think about sin. Pious people, they don't think about sin. But Kali wasn't happy with that. How to make the impious people sinful? How? How to contaminate their minds. Therefore, he invented the film industry. And then people are watching. And all these are impressions. You don't watch the film one time. Once you watch it, it is forever with you in your subtle mind. It stays there. And you can watch it again and again and again and again. And it creates material desires. It cultivates our material desires. But the instructions of Lord Chaitanya are na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadisha kamaye. I do not want all these things. But in the film industry, they will show you rich people. Oh, so nice. They will show you beautiful people. Oh, so nice. I also want to be like this. They will show you people climbing mountains. Oh, it would be so nice to climb the Everest. Next life, you will be climbing the Everest. Oh, you see people swimming in the sea. I told you one time Prabhupada was on the ocean in America, and he saw the people surfing. Prabhupada never saw that before. He saw the people surfing on the waves, and he said, what are they doing? And devotee said, Prabhupada, they are surfers. And Prabhupada said, sufferers? And devotee said, no, Prabhupada, surfers. Prabhupada said, sufferers. No, they are sufferers. They like the water so much. They like to play in the water so much. Next life, they will be fish. So we must be very careful what we contemplate. So the film industry, for the devotees, it is a big no. No. Recently I was hearing Bhakti Damodar Maharaj was giving a lecture on the day he was giving initiations. And Maharaj is quite strict. And what was he saying? He was talking about the movies. He said, if you want to watch movies, don't come to me. Just don't. And if you are initiated and you start watching movies, know that you are immediately, your initiation is cancelled. I reject. These are very strong words, but unfortunately, we must hear them, because in this age, we are attacked by Kali. And we take things for granted and very, lightly. This is not to be taken lightly. The scriptures speak of elephant bath. You see what is elephant bath? The elephant takes a bath in the river. And he loves taking baths. He spends quite a bit of time there and throws water on himself, on his body. And as soon as he comes out, he takes dirt from the ground and throws it on himself. This is watching movies. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Ram Hare Hare. And then watch a movie. It is not for laughing. It is very serious. Entertainment. Oh, I don't watch movies. I watch entertainment. What is entertainment? Dancing, singing. What kind of song? I miss you forever. Always connected with some kind of romance or some kind of something or the other. And I am enjoying the song. No, no. For us there is Jaya Radha Madhava. That's a beautiful song. Though we don't listen to mundane songs. You may say, oh, Lord Chaitanya was singing a mundane song at the Ratha Yatra. That's not a good argument. The news. No, I don't watch films, I don't use entertainment, I watch news. First of all, Prabhupada told us most of the news is fake. Lots of fake news. So we're wasting our time. And we should read the news of the spiritual world, not the news of the material world. For devotees, depending on what service you have and what level of practice of Krishna consciousness you have, you more or less keep in touch with some news. The leaders of our movement must have some idea of what's going on in the world. But if I'm a new bhakta who joined yesterday, the use of me knowing the news, which keeps repeating all the time, same thing all the time, and creating fear in the heart of the people. That's what the news is for, to create fear in the heart of the people. Devotees are trying to become free from fear by taking shelter of Krishna. And by hearing the news, you get back the fear. And then you think, oh my God, I must take an insurance. I must really take an insurance, see what can happen, see what can happen. Well, no. Goes against our surrender to Krishna. And most of it is useless. Then next come the documentaries. Okay. Some education, harmless documentaries. Except sometimes the documentaries show things that you were not planning to see. Okay. Advertising, very bad. We don't watch advertising. Those who are engaged in the advertising industry, some of them, they actually graduate from psychology. They graduate in psychology. They study the mind in order not to cure the mind, in order to make the mind more sick. How to trick the people, how to engage them in certain behaviors. This is very demoniac. And those who study psychology, most of them, they don't become doctors, they become advertisers. How to trick the people by using the ways of the mind, by knowing very well how the mind works and how you can manipulate the mind. You see a beautiful car in the picture, and next to the car there is a beautiful lady, and you go like, if I get the car, I get the lady. Vice versa. If I get this, I get that. If I get that, I get this. Because there is association of idea in the mind. So there are all sorts of tricks which are used in advertising, which are meant to convince us to buy something we don't need. Contamination through philosophies, hearing. Where do we hear? From where do we hear? From where? Bona fide source. We hear from a bona fide source. We don't run everywhere to hear everything. This is one of the reasons why in India, in the devotees began Bhagavad Saptaha, these 7-day recitations of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada was not in favor of that. He criticizes that for 7 days they hear the Bhagavatam and the rest of the year they think they are Krishna, enjoying gopis. They misbehave the rest of the year. But then for 7 days they sit tight and they hear the Bhagavatam. And he was also saying that the speakers, the only thing they want is Dhanam, Janam, Sundarim. That's all. This is what they want from their katha. So, but then what was happening is that people are used to that it's a tradition. On Janmashtami, you hear katha. And if there is no katha in ISKCON, you go somewhere else. You just go somewhere else. You go here, there is Maharaj, here, there is Baba there is this one, that one. So in order to curb that, then this 7 days Bhagavad Katha, we call it more Bhagavad Katha, was introduced in India. Everywhere, on all the festivals, there are kathas, 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 so that the devotees will hear from ISKCON. So this is very contaminating for us, philosophical contamination, that in due course of time, the Guru Parampara gets broken. Srila Prabhupada said, it's not because no one there is to perpetrate, it is because of deviation. Because the proper line of knowledge has been mixed. The first qualities of a disciple is to be chaste, to be endowed with something called Guru Nishtha, faith, firm faith in the spiritual master, and chastity. Chastity means that you don't go somewhere else. So we should keep that in our mind, that we do not hear things which are outside the Guru Parampara. This is very important. Okay, now we will have the darshan of Radha, which means the class time is over, which is fine. Two more things, most also contaminating things, is coming into the Shri Radha Govinda ki jai. Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Gadada Priya Prabhu ki jai. Coming in close contact with others in a way which is going to create disturbance, attraction, which will lead to sexual life. So mostly we always, so therefore in our culture, we keep some distance between male, female. We keep some distance, because as soon as we come too close, the male and female body are like two opposite poles. When they stay far away, you don't know. When they come close, there is attraction. So we keep a distance, and we have to learn that, how to keep a distance. Unfortunately, in this age, the attraction between male and female, in this age, by the mercy of Kali, there is attraction between male and male, female and female. It is a very degraded time. So therefore, we should always be very careful how we deal with others. And we should also perceive their intentions and keep ourselves safe. Last point I want to mention is the contamination. Internal cleanliness is also can be affected by food. Srila Prabhupada was very particular about food. That first of all, devotees are prasadarian. Huh? Prasadarian. We eat only prasadam. So, understanding is eating bhoga is contaminating. We take on karma and so many vibes. Eating the food which are forbidden, it is contaminating. And also Prabhupada said that food should be cooked by a devotee. So devotees should get rid of the habit of eating in non-devotee restaurants and all sorts of food outlets, eating junk food. Nowadays you buy packets, packets full of junk inside. Neither it is healthy, nor it is healthy for the mind either. So we should be, as I said, somehow take these things seriously. Contamination by food. The consciousness of the person who is cooking goes into the food. If a lusty person is cooking, after eating, my mind will be full of lust. If an angry person is cooking, then after eating, everybody will be fighting. It happens sometimes. I remember when I was on Padayatra one time, there was a cook who was such an angry person. And for sure, every day after prasad, everybody was excited. And so we have to be careful to eat food which has been cooked by a gentle person. So what to do? This is as we said, we live in a contaminated atmosphere in this age of Kali. How do we purify ourselves internally? This is the process that we are following, the process of Krishna consciousness. Number one, we associate with the pure, those whose mind is clear. We seek their association. We seek to find the purest of the pure, and we try to have their association. That's where internet becomes a little useful sometimes, because you can hear so many beautiful lectures from so many beautiful devotees. You can watch Abhishek, you can do so many things, even if you cannot personally attend. But of course, personal meeting, personal attendance cannot be matched. One should not be lazy. One should be eager for actual personal association. Nowadays, there is a tendency just sit at home and watch. It is not the same. Like all of you are experiencing here, those who are on site with the courses, it is not the same as being online. So we associate with the pure devotees, we chant, we perform the bhakti angas, and we take prasadam. This is very simple, Srila Prabhupada said. It is very simple. It's a very easy process for this age, provided we agree to surrender unto it. All right, so I will stop here. The time is over. Any question or comment quickly by anyone? Yes, Saurabh.
One question regarding during COVID time in our base, one person got COVID, and after this time passes, everyone all got contaminated. So if you are getting some kind of disease in sort of association, and it is as a result of our aparadha or insincerity regarding ourselves.
Well, it is everything that happens to us usually is the result of our own activities. So it can be the past karma, but it can also be the current karma. And so the past karma, there's hardly much we can do about it. What we do is we chant and we practice the process of bhakti to purify the backlog, okay? But there is also the current, that if somebody has COVID next to you, you are free to stay there or go somewhere else. And this is also your karma. You can also, choose your current situation and to some extent avoid, getting contaminated. You can do that. You can avoid. If you go visit somebody and you know that they have a terrible flu and they are sneezing and they are you expose yourself. You know it. You know it's contaminated. You go there. And after that, 2 days later. So there is the past, which we can only purify by the process of bhakti. And there is the present also, that we should learn how to act in the present. Like now I was saying, there are so many contaminating agents. So you should know they are there. If you, even after hearing, you continue, then that is an offense. It is the 10th offense to maintain material attachment, even having heard so many things about this matter. So after hearing, it is an offense not to apply. So 2 ways it goes. So we have to learn how to pilot our ship for the best, because the past determines our present, and the present with the past as well, but the present determines our future. Yes? Yes? Is there a mic? Yeah, speak loud.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. I just have one question that if someone is worshipping or doing deepen.
Can we discuss this? We'll have a separate session for this so that you understand better. Any other question? Yes?
About keeping pets, you were saying...
Keeping pets.
Yeah, I've seen in Vrindavan especially, I've seen many devotee Matajis who keep pets, like cats, they keep at home. So I know one senior Mataji who has a cat, he even deities at home, which is to keep the cat in Vrindavan. So then...
We cannot just follow everything. We have to, as they say, discriminate. We usually do not keep pets. And if you want to keep a pet, the pet has to have some area where they are. Not that they can go all over the place. It's not recommended. Pets are not part of a Brahminical ashram or a Brahminical home. They are not part of that. But like dogs, for example, can be kept outside the house. It can be kept. Like if you live in the countryside, as I said, the dog is a friend of man, And we don't hate pets. That's not the case. We love them. But as I said, love doesn't mean we enjoy them. Love means we also try to somehow give them some benefit of our practice of Krishna Consciousness. So as far as possible, we don't keep pets. And if you want to keep a pet, then have some discipline. Like, for example, as I said, it's better not have one. But if you have one, for example, he cannot go in the temple room. In your house, you make a room. Where is the temple? The dog cannot go there. The cat cannot go there. It should not go there. Because as soon as he goes there, that's that. But these are attachments, People are attached. Somebody is attached to keeping a pet. It's quite gratifying, pets. They're really happy, they touch you, they come. But Prabhupada had a different idea. He said one thing about the dog. He said that somebody has a dog, and the dogs, they have a tendency to come. You know what they do? They come and they smell everywhere, right? They have a very developed sense of smell. So the dog is smelling here, there, and sometimes also licking a little bit. Little tongue is coming out. So Brahma cannot forget. There are how many disasters of people who fainted in their home, locked with the dog. When people found them, their body was half eaten. Yes. An animal remains an animal. So Prabhupada said that he's not actually, it's not an act of, liking you. He's actually checking. Nice. Nice. Eatable. Okay, so what can I say? Everyone has attachments. So, and maybe it is a very special cat who was a devotee in his previous life. And that person is performing a great service by keeping that cat. That cat is hearing the holy name all the time, eating prasadam, going back to Godhead. We have to see from different angles. Maybe that's a great devotee who somehow took birth again in the body of a cat and cannot leave the association of devotees. Neither the devotees can leave his association. So try to be a little open-minded. But it's not an example, I would say. Last, yes?
So Mataji, what's the better thing to do? To come to the standards, then have deities, or to have deities and slowly develop the Brahmanical qualities? Because there is a tendency in the mind that best thing to avoid seva aparadha is not to have deities at all.
No, so it goes both ways. Definitely, if we want to have deities and worship deities, we should become aware of cleanliness and Brahminical standards, and we should work for it. But if you wait to be perfect, you may have to wait a long time. So the archanam, the process of deity worship, it comes in the line Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, then Archanam. So first we purify ourselves. So Prabhupada gave first initiation, because we all come from downtrodden background in this age. So first he said, you take first initiation, let him purify himself. So we spend a period of purification, in increasing our standards and so on. But it is natural to at some point come to the point of achanam. And so it goes both ways. We should elevate ourselves to a certain point to be ready for archana. But it doesn't mean you have to be completely perfect. By doing archanam, that will boost everything. It will boost everything. As long as the deity is not at home, more or less you keep clean. Once the deity is there, the deity will actually, there's something magic with Archanam, is that the deity will take your service. It will make you serve, which before you wouldn't do. But once the deity is there, the deity will engage you. And you won't dare. You won't dare go to the deity and clean. You will not dare. So, unless you are really very tamasic and a bit sinful in mind. But otherwise, the deity and the process of archanam itself is a process of purification, of further purification. So you grow up to here, and then you take deity worship and you keep growing further. So we stop here. Thank you so much, all of you, for coming today. And we are wishing you a wonderful day ahead. Hare Krishna. Yes. Okay.
What Ayurvedic medicine with alcohol?
Okay. Some things, for the purpose of medicine, some things are allowed, like garlic, for example. Some things are allowed in the medicines. Yes. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hari Hari Bol.